Going on, everyone? I'm outside today, so I'm sorry for the background noise. And I've been fighting a cold for a couple of days. But I wanted to be outside because it's been about 5 degrees for the last week and a half, and it finally reached 50. And I just need the sun and I need the air. But something happened right before Christmas, and it hit home more than this person thought. A girl I work with, she was upset a couple days before break. And I asked her what was going on because I could tell something was bothering her. And she was embarrassed to tell anybody. And she finally told me because I'm one of the only other coworkers that have been divorced and been through hell like she has. And she said that her daughter left the house and wanted to live with her father instead. Her daughter's 15 or 16, but old enough to make that decision in New Jersey. And she didn't know what to do. Strangely enough, I've been in that situation. My son, a few years ago, when we were butting heads, he said he wanted to live with mom full time. And it was like a knife in the back and the stomach at the same time. And I didn't know how to take it. I mean, I was pissed. I mean, literally, I was fucking aggravated. Like, how dare you? And then I was upset. Like, what the hell did I do wrong as a father for you to want to live with mom and not me, or share the time because we have 50-50? It didn't make sense. So I asked him, I'm like, pretend I'm the judge, because he didn't know this at the time. I mean, again, he was 15 at the time, 15, 16, and he could have made that decision, and I didn't have any choice, but he didn't know this. So I said, pretend I'm the judge, and because you have to go to court to have things changed, and if this is what you want, you got to plead your case and explain why you feel like you need to live with your mom full time and no longer with your father. So he gave his reasons. His reasons were he had too many chores. If he didn't do those chores, he was going to get punished, and there was going to be consequences. No phone, no girlfriend, stuff like that. When he wanted to go to his girlfriend's house, he couldn't just go whenever he wanted because I couldn't pick him up whenever he wanted, and that bothered him too. And a few other things, just about how strict I was, wanting his bed made in the morning, and a few other things. So I said, okay, I got your list of your reasons, and so what's better at your mom's house? I don't have that many chores, I'm never getting punished, and she can pick me up whenever I want to go out or drive me. Like, okay, great. So as a dad, I got to tell you, it's hard for me to just pick up and go and drive you or pick you up whenever you want. You have a brother who's 3 years younger than you, and if he's sleeping and it's 10 o'clock at night, I can't just come and pick you up because you feel like it's time for you to come home. And mom lives with her mom and dad still. It's easy for her just to get up and go. So what would you like me to do with your brother? Wake him up and say we have to go pick up Joey? Or leave him and then wonder, God forbid he wakes up, scared as hell, where's dad? So I don't have that luxury. But now I'm going to say I'm the judge. And you plead your case. So you have too many chores at your dad's house. You have none at your mom's house. You have consequences, restrictions at your dad's house you don't have at your mom's house. And you can come and go as you please at your mom's house. You can't come and go as you please at your dad's house. So I see you have structure. I see you have consequences. And I see you have responsibility more at your father's house than you do at your mother's house. And if that's the case, I think you should stay with your father full time and not your mother. As a judge, that's what I think should happen, because your father's teaching you responsibility and consequences and what it's like to be a man and grow up with certain responsibilities and how you can't just come and go as you please. And he was shocked. He was shocked that I had that response. Again, I don't know what a judge would say, but I think any normal-headed human being teaching your kids about responsibility and consequences is a great thing. So with my coworker, I told her exactly what happened, and she saw that I was upset because I know this happened 3 years ago, but I still get choked up. My son wanted just to leave. And the thing, she had the same issues. She's married. She's been married now for, I believe, 6 years. And the divorce was 9 years ago. And she didn't know what to do. So I said, you got to have a conversation with your daughter, but you can't attack her. You can't say she's wrong. You have to listen and what's going on in her head, because you have to understand what's going on in your world and what's going on in her world are two completely different things. And as a female, you know what it's like at 16 years old. You guys go through hormones and changes just like men do, but I have 2 sisters. I know what it was like. It was not fun at my house sometimes. So you have to listen to what she's saying. And if you don't listen to what she's saying and you just attack her and get mad and take it personally, she's going to attack right back. And if you fight her, she's going to fight you. You have to come to a place with love. Those are your kids, and yes, you're upset. Yes, you're angry. You have every right to be. But you also have to listen to what she's saying and what she's feeling. If you don't do that, you're not going to have a relationship with your child. She came back to me, and it's funny because she said, you're right. She's like, there's a lot of things that she didn't know about the divorce. Some things she remembered about the ex, that he was abusive, but she didn't realize how many times this actually happened. She just felt that she started dating somebody new or cheating on her father and jumped right into a relationship, which wasn't the case. I try to tell her too, you don't need to go into detail. She's too young, and some things that she doesn't know, because it's still her dad. Regardless of whatever issues that you guys have had, and yes, some of the stuff he did was downright harmful, it's still her father. And some of those things, those kids don't need to know or learn, because they'll learn on their own. Wait till they get older, where it's easier to understand that stuff. Because as a teenager going through these changes, especially hormonal, there's a lot of emotions. And as adults, we start to see what our parents are like. I've seen it now. We all see it. And I told her that if you come to a place of love and caring, it's not going to be an argument. It's going to be an understanding. You're going to understand where she's coming from. She's going to understand where you're coming from. And at first, she was really upset because she just thought her daughter was going to come home before they spoke just for Christmas Eve and Christmas and get presents, and that was it. But I'm like, you're also the mom, and you have to say, we're going to have this conversation before Christmas because it's uncomfortable for me. You're the mother, you're the parent. You also have to set the rules and the guidelines. But when she actually sat and talked to her child, listened, you have to listen. The one thing that I feel parents don't do enough is listen, because I used to always yell. It was always my way. And the more that I actually listened to my son, instead of just hearing what he's saying, I actually listened, heard the pain in his voice sometimes. It changes. And the relationship that I have with my son, I can't express how much it's changed over the years, because, I mean, some of the videos that you guys know, he comes to talk to me now. He asks for my advice. So the only thing I can say is, yes, when your child, if this ever does happen, they want to live with the other parent, you have to try to have some kind of conversation to find out why. What is going on? What are they hearing? What are they thinking? And don't let it be an argument. You have to be the bigger person, as much as I never wanted to be at times. And they are your children, and you want to yell and you want to say, this is what you have to do. It doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. It didn't work with us when we were kids. I mean, I just got a smack on the ass or in the back of the head, and I had to listen the old Italian way. And I mean, I don't know how many spoons I got broken over my ass, but my parents were married and I had a choice to go to another house. So sometimes it's harder for parents who are divorced, because when kids are living at home with both parents, I remember how it was. You got mad at mom, you would ask dad. You got mad at dad, you would ask mom. Now it's, you know what, dad, fuck you. I don't want to live with you. I want to go live with mom. I don't have to deal with this shit anymore. Or, you know what, mom, I don't want to live with you because it's so much easier at dad's house. I don't have to deal with your crap either. So I feel like we have to have this balance, and it's hard on us because we don't want to be the bad person, and we don't want to be the best friend, because you know what happens when you're just friends with your kids. It's chaos. It's a complete shit show. So what we need to do is just come to a place of love and understanding and a conversation. And regardless of how that conversation turns out, for my instance, it worked out well. For her instance, it worked out well too. It might not always be that way. So you have to give it time. And I know from what I've seen from friends and family, it does actually work out. Hope this helps for some of you. Hope for some it never happens. But if it does, having that conversation and trying to figure out what your kids are actually feeling and saying is a huge step, because your relationship changes a lot, and it changes for the better, regardless of whatever decision they make. Hope it helps.